Imagine flashing neon lights in a world that is overtaken by technology. A city that is blessed, but also plagued by the advancement of mankind. Soon, this could be our reality. Our world is transforming into a cyberpunk dystopia faster than you'd think. A fantastic representation of this idea is Cyberpunk 2077. Based off of the movie Bladerunner, players can explore an amazing neon-lit city filled with adventures and insane technology. Cyberpunk's aesthetic is absolutely amazing. Something about the flashing neon signs, fascinating technology, and fog that overlays it is alluring to the normal person. But even though it seems like an interesting place to live, is it actually a world that we would eventually want to make a reality?
Cyberpunk. The term was first used to describe a new genre in science fiction literature. The success of these books has generated spin-offs such as a graphic novel and a computer role-playing game.
The technology of this world would be insane. We would see the peak of human performance, with people essentially becoming superhuman, with machine limbs and body parts. Also, with chips in our brain creating an AR hub for us to explore. That's not it though. Flying cars, robots, and advanced computers are just a few more benefits that come with a society like this. Oh, and as I mentioned before, the aesthetic is a huge plus as well. But there's something eerie about a world that is cyberpunk. The creator of the cyberpunk universe, Podsmith, who devised the world in the 1980s, says that the world should be seen as a warning instead of an aspiration. He mentioned that we shouldn't be hoping to get to this, in which he was referring to the cyberpunk world. But why would the creator of something this amazing not want to see his interpretation of the future eventually come true?
Cyberpunk is about that interface between people and technology, but not in that transhumanist way where it's all about the technology changing or improving them. It's about how people use things. There's a great Gibson saying, the street finds its uses for things. And that's what cyberpunk is about. Cyberpunk isn't about saving humanity, it's about saving yourself.
Cyberpunk's true nature is survival of the fittest, which raises concerns about big corporations and the rise of inequality between people. And he displayed those themes in the cyberpunk universe. That's really what cyberpunk is all about. It highlights how the world would be if we let corporate greed take the reins. Cyberpunk is a plutocracy, in which the wealthy control the society and make all of the rules. There's no such thing as a president in Bladerunner, or even Cyberpunk. It's run by the mega wealthy. Think of someone like Jeff Bezos calling all the shots for everyone. Since corporations end up having massive amounts of power, there is essentially no government to rely on, and everything ends up being privatized. Because of this, the gap between the rich and poor would grow tremendously. The rich flourish while the poor people fight for survival. Along with this, pollution would be a part of people's everyday lives. With heavy manufacturing going on and the abuse of Earth's resources, there would most likely be irreversible environmental damage. Rampant crime would be another side effect of all this. With no government, the police would be loyal to the highest bidder. Shootouts, robberies, and murders will be plentiful within the population. But of course, these wrongdoings won't be common when against corporations. They have the resources to enforce their way after all, so very few would want to mess with them. In a cyberpunk-driven world, no one will be able to protest these corporations. They will already be deeply seated within society, controlling everything within everyone's daily lives with technology that enables them to do so. We already live in a world dominated by data and power, where big corporations like Apple, Google, Facebook, and Amazon control massive parts of our daily lives. If you use any type of social media, they ultimately get to choose what you see and absorb, which is an extremely powerful tool to have. It's not out of the realm of possibilities that companies like these will gain massive control in the future as they advance much further in technology than our own government, which could lead to a dystopian world much like Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I wouldn't say these corporations are in the wrong as of now. I really appreciate all the technology that they provide to society, and it really does move the ball forward for everyone. But it's just something to be aware of just in case. Hopefully, one day, we can experience a cyberpunk-type world without all of the negatives depicted in Cyberpunk 2077 or Bladerunner. If we could have some type of democracy that balances nature and technology and also governs its people fairly, without the power of greedy corporations taking over, it could be absolutely amazing. We just have to be extremely careful where the future is taking us. If we are careful enough, maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to experience the breathtaking aesthetic of a cyberpunk-type world without having to fear for our lives.